Thank you, Tim, and good morning to all of you. And I can say without any reservations, Tim, I'm not an expert, at least at the level of the good people in this room, but I have become keenly aware of and keenly involved in the debate we're having about unmanned vehicles and unmanned aerial systems. And I wanted to speak to that to kick off your day of discussions and debate and a series of, I know, interactions you all are going to have. I know we've also, Tim, got entrepreneurs and innovators and experts here from across the industry, as I just suggested. And again, welcome to Washington. Tim mentioned that I've had the good luck and honor to serve in the Congress for nearly 15 years. And when I was in the House, I did chair the Subcommittee on Space and Aeronautics. And as Tim mentioned today, I'm proud to serve on the Senate Intelligence Committee, the Armed Services Committee, and I do chair as well the Subcommittee on Strategic Forces on the Armed Services Committee. Some people are pretty surprised to learn that Colorado has the second largest aerospace economy in the country. And in that context, we're home to a wide range of large and small industry leaders who've learned to navigate both outer space and the inner workings of the federal government. And I'm still not sure which one is more treacherous. And here's how you can tell them apart. One is a cold, soulless vacuum, and the other's outer space. 10 years ago, unmanned systems were in limited use, mostly for highly specialized missions. Today, it seems clear that unmanned aerial systems, or UASs, are the next revolutionary leap forward in aerospace technology and American manufacturing. Now, the public is well aware of the military applications of unmanned systems, for better or for worse, but UASs have begun to demonstrate their potential in any number of other functions. They will certainly reshape the way we do things, from search and rescue operations and natural disaster assessment to precision agricultural and resource management. Within the next few years, the UAS industry is expected to create $85 billion worth of businesses and create 70,000 new jobs in the United States, 1,200 jobs alone in Colorado. And as I've implied, I believe in Colorado we're particularly well positioned to accommodate the UAS industry. As home to one of the nation's most robust aerospace industries, Colorado is an ideal environment, both geographically and economically, to support the UAS industry and to foster significant technological developments. Pilots often joke in Colorado that for all the challenges of taking off and landing in our high-altitude conditions, it is worth it. They get the first mile for free, as they say. Colorado's support for innovative new industries in aerospace will give UAS companies a running start in my home state. They too will get that first mile for free from our world-class human resources and the support of common sense leaders. Our state boasts 4 key military commands and 3 space-related Air Force bases that are home to aeronautic and aviation experts. These professionals collaborate directly with highly ranked universities and federal research institutions, as well as private companies, to facilitate cutting-edge research, development, and testing. Colorado is poised to reap the many benefits of a growing UAS presence in America, and I share the industry's enthusiasm for what the future holds. But having said that, in many ways the future is already here. Because rapid growth of the technology is upon us, there's work to be done to integrate these systems into an outdated airspace architecture that is not yet prepared to integrate them. Even more importantly, we need to integrate UASs into the American psyche in a way that isn't threatening or scary. I think many of you here, if not all of you, have recognized that I'm deliberately not using the word drone because I believe it carries a stigma. Most Americans don't think about monitoring crops, search and rescue operations, or the numerous other civilian uses of this technology. They think of Hellfire missiles and the headline-grabbing work our government is doing overseas. But let me be clear, that's not what we're here today to discuss. How we talk about and label UASs is important, but our work to ensure the public is comfortable with them must extend far beyond how we talk about these technologies. While recognizing the potential for unmanned flight systems that lower cost, reduce risk, and allow access to environments that are currently inaccessible, we must also acknowledge the potential for misuse. When the internet made communications and information sharing far easier than any of us could have imagined 20 years ago, we had to update our laws to reflect the new realities it enabled. I think today, and I not only think, I know that today we find ourselves in a similar situation with regard to UASs. While many see UASs for the good they will do, they could also create a new avenue for bad actors to trespass on private property and violate Americans' privacy rights. Our laws will need to keep pace with this new technology, and I intend to be a leader in ensuring we pass the right laws. We must ensure that as we support this burgeoning industry, we also take the time to protect Americans from the potential misuse of this technology. Those two efforts must go hand in hand. If the American public views these promising technologies in a negative light, envisioning a sky full of drones watching their every move, however exaggerated that vision may be, this industry will always be behind the 8 ball and never reach its full potential. The only way to truly embrace these innovative job-creating technologies is to be upfront in addressing the unavoidable legal and privacy concerns that arise with the advent of any new technology. Now, I think you've gotten a sense I care a lot about my home state, and I want to say this is especially true for Coloradans who hold sacred their open spaces, seclusion, and privacy, both in the furthest wilderness areas and in the center of our greatest cities. It's part of who we are in the West. So it's not surprising that it would give them pause to hear that with a few $100s, a UAS operator could record or broadcast live audio and video of a family eating dinner or anyone sitting in their backyard. The potential for surveillance raises real concerns. It is invasive and it can be done undetected. Now, I want to emphasize that the privacy of my constituents is paramount and it is my role to protect it at all costs. That said, I also see it as my role to assist the commercial UAS industry and help it to create jobs here in America. But I don't see these two critical roles being in conflict. Working together, we can strike the right balance between, one, bringing UAS technology to market, and two, addressing the concerns of those who are justifiably worried about invasions of their privacy. And that's why in coming weeks I'll be introducing legislation to put a legal framework in place to protect the rights of Americans from undue surveillance and UAS abuse. I know that anytime Congress gets the urge to legislate or is focused on a certain industry, the presumption is that's a bad thing. But my goal is to be a partner of the UAS industry and help it navigate difficult terrain and overcome public mistrust so that it can thrive and prosper. Let me assure you that my interest is not only in the privacy side of this issue. I'm also working to assist the FAA in ensuring that the right regulatory structure is in place to allow the industry to flourish. Right now, and I don't have to tell many of you this in this room, most domestic UASs are unable to operate until the FAA completes the laborious process of amending regulations to allow commercial operations. As of now, the FAA has issued only 327 permits, and very few of them have been granted to private companies. Quite frankly, the process needs to move more quickly. The establishment of 6 UAS test sites is essential to getting the data that the FAA needs to safely integrate the national airspace. Colorado is one of many states competing for these sites, and I'm fighting not only to ensure that one of these sites finds its way to Colorado, but that each of them gets put in place quickly. Data from these sites will not only help the FAA get the regulations right, They will also inform the broader debate on privacy policy regarding UAS technologies moving forward. Together, in sum, we've got a lot of work to do, but I'm optimistic. This industry is moving forward, and I pledge to work with anyone who's willing to ensure that this growing industry has the foundation it needs, and that as it moves forward, we don't leave our respect for privacy behind. As I mentioned in my initial remarks, you've got a great list of speakers here today, and I know it's going to be a great and fruitful discussion. I hope my views will provide a thoughtful context to the important conversations and debates and confront all of us. Again, I want to thank you for including me, and I want to urge you to please reach out and stay in touch as we all work to ensure that the United States is fully able to realize the potential of this critical new technology. Have a great day. Again, thank you for including me here in your important conversation. Thanks.